Hi, and you're welcome to this presentation on what is perpetual inventory and how it works in Enterprise. I'm Sharon Mulligan from Enterprise and the product expert here, and we'll simply look at what is perpetual inventory, how it improves and makes better business decisions for you, and of course the different costing methods and how it all works within Enterprise. So let's take a look here, perpetual inventory. So in its simplicity, it's a way of recording all your stock movements in real time and then seeing the results in your stock on hand and of course your financial postings. So ultimately your stock valuation is available at the click of a button. So both systems are seamlessly integrated within an ERP system. You have your stock items and your journals coming together. So all your postings in relation to procurement and sales come together and update your financial journal entries. So as soon as you post your sales and purchases, your stock on hand is updated, your committed and stock on order are updated, and you know what free stock you have available to sell to your customers. So you're always on top of your stock fulfillment. On the financial side, as I've mentioned, postings are updated to your raw materials, cost of goods, and your stock accounts. And of course, all in real time on any ERP system. So you can run financial reports at any time, and that's very important for any business to make all the relevant decisions that they need to make. So better business decisions. So better business decisions around your stock fulfillment. These can be made faster without having to wait for stock takes on a periodic basis. So you always know what you have available to sell to your customers. So very simply, with looking at a stock report, whether you print the stock report or run the stock report on screen within Enterprise, you can see your availability within all of your locations. So you can look at within all warehouses or within specific warehouses to see what orders you can fulfill to your customers, or perhaps to see what orders need to be placed in order to reorder and to procure more stock. So there are different types of pricing methods you can use in most ERP systems. So very simply, you've got LIFO, last in, first out. So the last in means it's going to be first out of stock for issuing to your customers. FIFO, first in, first out. And moving average. So moving average simply takes the average cost price from the relevant procurement documents. So it is always moving, always changing based on the last purchase price used. And this is the one we will talk about here with Enterprise, is moving average. So just in terms of perpetual inventory with Enterprise, so obviously it's an all-in-one supply chain management system. So you've got warehousing and inventory all in one. Procurement, so being able to order stock with stock purchase automation, and of course with purchase approvals. So you have control over anything that's replaced and purchased through your stock or for other means within the business. Batch traceability on manufactured and fresh goods to ensure that what is supplied to your customer is the best and the freshest available. So of course this all adds to customer satisfaction and ensuring that they get the best stock options at all time. So with a cloud ERP system, of course, cloud reporting. So being able to run a report at the click of a button, whether that's your stock valuation, whether that's any of your financial reporting, your aging reports to know what your customers owe or what you owe your suppliers. So delivery scheduling. So being able to have control over what goes out to your customers and when it goes out to your customers, or any particular jobs that need to take place. And of course, selection of mobile apps for field staff. So to ensure that when your staff are out on the road, that they have access to the relevant applications that make it easy for them to fulfill their position, sell to your customers, fulfill stock orders, get quotes in for your stock, and of course, ultimately then to update that on the cloud and ensure that the perpetual inventory from one end of the supply chain is maintained all the way through. So let's take a quick look at Enterprise at how this is all managed seamlessly for you. So let's take a look within Enterprise and how perpetual inventory affects your stock items. So very simply what I'm going to do is go in here to the items menu, come in here to either stock items or to the stock report. The stock report will identify all my items, and within each location and warehouse it will show me exactly what I have on hand, if I have any quantity on order through my procurement, the available stock and the total available. Now, as this is per warehouse, I can drill in again to my item, and from here I can see overview or the overall stock on hand, any committed stock to any of your sales orders, for example, free stock, and on purchase orders. So the free stock is generated by taking the on purchase order minus the committed stock to give you, and of course the stock on hand to give you the free stock. So where does this all begin in terms of perpetual inventory? So if we see here, for example, in this particular item, it's linked to item group items. So where it all begins, if we go in here to settings and go in again to module settings, I just want to show you this so that you have an understanding as we see the stock come through the system. And if we go down here to item groups and go into group accounts, and if I select here the item group for items, you can see here all of the relevant GL accounts that have been defined and determined for this particular item group. Now what this does is very simply from a perpetual inventory point of view is that as transactions are posted and updated on sales or on purchases, or for example just through stock take or receiving in and issuing out stock, all of the relevant entries are happening automatically in the background, and these are the primary GL accounts that are affected for those particular stock items within that item group. So let's just come straight back out and let's just go back to that particular item. So for example, if we go back to the stock reports and drill into that item. So we know, for example, that currently we have an order, we have a purchase order for that particular item. So very simply, let's go ahead and receive in one of the or part of the purchase orders that are currently outstanding so that we can see the implications on the financial side. And of course, we can see that the inventory status will change straight away. So if we go into purchasing and go into orders, and I'm just going to drill into one of the purchase orders for that particular item. And very simply here, what I can do is click on the drop down menu here, and we can bring that to a purchase delivery, which is a goods receipt, and bring that into stock. Now, of course, I can, of course, reduce the quantity here and bring in less if there's anything less than that has been received from your supplier. So let's click on save then to bring that into stock. Okay, so two things have happened. So we should have had an update, but primarily on the item side, if we check the status of that particular item. So let's just drill into that item at this stage. And if we now look at the stock on hand and on purchase order, you can see that in real time, the inventory has moved and changed. And that's all part of how perpetual inventory works. So let's just go back a step. So the second part of that posting, of course, is the journal entry associated with that posting. So if I now drill into the journal linked to that goods receipt or linked to that purchase delivery, I will see that a couple of things have taken place here. We will have an update, so the goods received not invoiced. We've got an update to the raw materials on the balance sheet. And of course, we've got an update as well, a movement on the materials for that GL account. So let me just go back a step and just to show you how that's going to update again. So if we copy that then to an invoice, and then if we just calculate and save that and submit that. So because the goods have already been received, there'll be no further updates to the stock or the location at this point in time. So the only other update, of course, will take place on the financial side. So let's take a look at that. So when we drill into the journal entry for that particular invoice, you can see that the supplier account has been updated. We've now got the VAT as well. And of course, the goods received has been changed as well. So what does this mean then, of course, from the items point of view? So again, if we go back to the items, At this point in time, if we were to run a stock valuation report, so we can do that from here. And this will tell us, for example, if we just take up that particular item, so from that item to that item, so we're just looking at one exclusively, we can run this by warehouse, and we can also specify the price on which to calculate the valuation, generate that report. So what you're doing there is you're generating it by a specific price list to get a value of what's currently in stock. So it's looking at the on-hand quantity, which we know is 90 per the receipt that we've done. And you can see there that the price that was received in as was 5, and then the value, of course, is simply just the price by the quantity. So we get to see a lot of information very quickly. And of course, in relation to the accounting side of things, so if we look at the balance sheet here, you can see here just on the drawer here for the assets. So under the current assets, we can see the raw materials for the stock. We can also see on the right-hand side here under the liabilities, we can see the goods received not invoice clearing account, which we saw that was updated during the goods receipt. So when we received stock in, this account got updated before we created the purchase invoice. In addition to that, of course, because again, with information coming in and out from stock, we can very simply run a profit and loss report at any stage, again, to see the current information of what's been updated to our revenue account. And of course, remember that this is all part of the GL determination that we defined against our item group. So again, our cost of sales, so the materials account, and of course any other costs. But primarily we've got here the revenue account and the materials in relation to the stock. So we can see exactly up to a point in time what is relevant on the financial postings. So just again in relation to perpetual inventory, just one last thing I wanted to show you, that at all points in time that you have visibility from a transactional point of view. So for example, if I was to create a new sales order, so just on the sales side, I just want to show you this. If we select a customer and if we go to add a line, and let's just take that item, as you can see here, the stock level is 190. I can see what my stock level is already. If I click on add to add that line in and then go to click on edit here at this point, I get an overview, as you can see here, an overview for the selected warehouse of what's in stock. Are there any other quantities on sales orders, and the available stock also to sell. So at all times with the perpetual inventory, in real time, I get to see the information as and when it happens. So as it changes, the information is updated at all times, both from the stock fulfillment point of view and of course from the financial side of things. So thank you for watching, and I hope that's given you a greater understanding of perpetual inventory and perpetual inventory with Enterpryze. Thank you.